Welcome to episode 47 of Meet the GIMP. My name is Rolf Steinhardt and I'm recording this in Bremen, northern Germany. You see here, something weird has happened to Ogretone. He has got triplets overnight. Well, I think now he's back down to one daughter, but this must have been fun for both of them. In this episode, I have something about printer colors, these cyan, magenta, yellow and black stuff, and I have a bit about saving an image for the web. Let's start with the printing stuff. Some time ago we had a lively discussion about cyan, magenta, yellow key, the printer colors and GIMP on Meet the GIMP. And one of you has written a lot about that, and that was Andrew Gill. Andrew has made a video about this, about the printing colors and the stuff GIMP can and GIMP can't. So let's look at his video.
Hi, I'm Andrew Gill, and I'm going to talk about CMYK. I've recently decided to go back to school for some printing courses, and I'm by no means an expert on color spaces, but I do know enough about the topic to discuss it with you. A recent message from Rolf has prompted me to make this podcast. Bear in mind, as I discuss this, that CMYK is a very controversial topic for GIMP users. And also bear in mind that GIMP is adding new software library known as GEGL, which will allow them to provide support for CMYK in the future. The current development cycle is aimed at incorporating this code into GIMP. So what is CMYK? It's a color model analogous to RGB. Red, green, and blue are the colors of light that our eyes recognize. They are called the additive primary colors, and when you mix them together, you get the colors we see. A pure mix of these results in white light. But when we deal with printed matter, we start with a blank white page, and what we must do is stop the red, green, and blue from being reflected. The way we do this is with subtractive primaries. Cyan stops the red, magenta stops the green, and yellow stops the blue. When you mix these colors together, you actually get a brownish color, not true black. So we add a fourth color, key color, which is black, and we call it key because all the other colors are keyed to it. And when I take something out to get it printed, I have to separate it into its primary colors. And each separation gets transferred to transparency and then burned into a metal photographic plate. These plates are then used to transfer the image, one ink at a time, to the paper. You can see the separations here. And this last one is a black layer. What happens if I get the product back and there's too much cyan? Maybe something went wrong with the image setter. It has a cyan cast to it. Or maybe there's just too much ink and it won't accept the cyan. If I want to fix it, I have to reduce the cyan, and there's no easy way to do that in GIMP. But if I take this into color balance here, I want to reduce the cyan, and in order to do that, what I have to do is increase the red. What this will do is pretty much nothing to this big cyan area here because I've got preserved luminosity here. This is largely unchanged. If I turn preserved luminosity off, you can see everything now has a red cast to it. And the colors are now off. And I don't want the colors to be off. I don't want any color shifts. That's why this is so important. If I wanted to do this in RGB mode, I could actually adjust the levels for red, green, and blue. I could say, well, I only want so much red, or so much green, or so much blue. But I can't do that with CMYK. In addition, printing inks are often mixed to produce certain effects. For example, if I had a full color graphic that I was planning to print with a black border, I would want that border printed in rich black. 60% cyan, 100% key, which will create a crisper border when printed. And you can't do that in GIMP. For example, if I wanted this here to be printed If there were any misregistration here, I might get some really nasty results. But if I keep this as a rich black, generally any misregistration will bleed into the black. You'll still get some misregistration effects, but you won't get a fuzzy border. The border will remain clean. And you just can't do this in GIMP. This is why people want it, and this is why it's important. So GIMP can't do this color mode. It can still do lots of other things, and it can emulate this color mode through decompose, which means that it still can be used for printing, just that it's really impractical to do so. In most other applications, GIMP is still a great program, and I love it. There are also some other open source programs that use CMYK, such as Krita, but in my experience, Krita is lacking many essential features of GIMP. There's Scribus, which is a desktop publishing program, which needs to use it, and does use it, and I think uses it well where it uses CMYK. And before I finish, there's one other aspect of CMYK that I'd like to mention. You may remember this image from episode 25. Now, because pure blacks are separated out, the key channel acts sort of like a separate value channel for the image. It's possible to alter the value of the colors in the image without altering their hue or saturation. And in this case, the CMYK mode allows greater flexibility in working on the overall tone of an image without worrying about color casts. So, for example, if I go in here to Colors Decompose, CMYK, I get this. Shift Control E, and select the key layer here. I take this into curves, and let's adjust this to somewhere around here. Bring out some of the detail here. Okay, if I go back to Colors, Components, Recompose, there we go. We now have an image that has a lot lighter colors, but still retains a lot of the color information. Since GIMP does not do CMYK natively, it can't actually do the full transformation, but it's still there. It's still possible to emulate portions of it. So I hope this has been informative, and I'm happy to answer any other questions you might have about this topic. There are a few good books out there on printing. I've got one called Getting It Printed by Mark Beach and Eric Kenley. It's a decent book. I don't know if it's the best one, but I'd recommend it. Anyways, thank you for listening, and thanks to Rolf for Meet the GIMP. It's a great podcast, and thanks to all of you for all the great work that I've been seeing through Meet the GIMP.
If you go down to another comment from Andrew, you'll find two links which go further into this topic. It is about rich black, the stuff you can't do with RGB because, well, it's blacker than black, and the design optimizations that have to be done if you want to take care of not absolutely correct registered prints. Also, this can't be done in the current GIMP. In a comment, in the last comment in this thread up to now, you'll find a link to it in the show notes. Andrew had provided some images, and let us look at these images. This image here is printed with normal black and not this rich black. Rich black would be black ink and color inks. And you see here there is the color beneath, and you see the color seeping through the black. This is blacker than this here. This black is really a gray. That's because these inks are not perfect. This black ink doesn't get 100% of the light reflection off. Here, the printing plates were misregistered. This happens a lot. If you imagine you have to get 4 parts of a very complicated big machinery together and have it to tolerances with well below a millimeter, below a tenth of a millimeter. And here you see this blue plate here, or well, it's the cyan plate. It was a little bit too far right and down, and so you have here a little bit blue inside, and here a little white corner. I don't think this would be so bad, but this is bad. And with trapping, with printing the green over the blue, they could have prevented this effect. Also, this is not easily done in GIMP, but well, one has to say GIMP isn't the tool for that. It can become a tool for that. And here you see a well-registered image and a very good trapping. Here you have this area here around the circle. This is printed with this color over the red. And so, well, this is double, this is a little bit darker. And if you don't look through the magnifying glass like we do here, you don't even see this dark border around this, but you see an improved contrast, and that gives an improved, well, an improved impression of sharpness. And so this trapping is a little bit like digital sharpening. Printing seems to be very interesting for a lot of you. Well, I have simply nearly absolutely no experience in printing images from my computer. I prefer to make a digital file of it and give it away to a print shop which prints it on photographic paper. At the moment, I'm waiting for photowalkthrough.com. John Arnold there knows a lot about printing. Well, it's his profession, and he wants to make a series about digital printing, digital image printing. And when he has done that, and I've looked at that and pointed you into his direction, then I'll see what has to be covered for GIMP. These Photoshop users always complain about that GIMP has no Save for the Web feature. Well, it has. It's only not built in from the start. So go to the gimp.org homepage and click on the plugin registry. And there you find a feature for logging in and a keyword search. Just type into the keyword search Save Web, and here we are. Save for Web allows to find a compromise between minimal file size and acceptable quality. And here are some attachments. Let's look at this here. You see, this version is quite new, from 2008. There has been one before. I don't download the Windows version here. The Windows version is just a binary that you drop into your plugin directory. We Linux users have to do a little bit more. We have to download the source and compile it. And you all know that compiling a source file is really difficult. These here are the files in the tarball, and let's look if there's a README. Yes, it is. And nobody is looking? Okay, I'll read the README. I know nobody reads in README, but well, I'll do it here. It's just safer, and I'm in an age where I love to be a little bit on the safe side. So, it is, well, it's easy, isn't it? You just type in /configure make install, and it's there. That easy? Okay, let's try it. So /mistyped /configure, and now the system is checking if my dependencies work, and it seems to work. If I had something not installed that I needed, I would get here an error message and could install this part of software. Installing missing software in Linux is easy. You just use your packet manager, or depending on your distribution. Perhaps you know how to do it if you use Linux. So this was the first step, configuring. Now it has made a make file and so, and now I should type in make. And make install. And here is a little error in this script. For installing this stuff, you need to be root. So I just type in sudo make install and my secret password on this machine here. And now I'm set. And now let's check out if this thing works. This is my image for saving for the web. It's a very old Volvo parked in a street next to my school, and cherry blossoms falling down on it. Could have made it that better, but I was in a real hurry. So first I want to scale this down. It's 2500 pixels in width. That is way too much. So image scale, and I want to have a width of 300 pixels. Okay, now saving for the web. File, and here I have a menu point, save for web. Let's try this. I get a dialog. Let me pull this into the window here. I have a lot to choose. Let's look around. Here I can choose the file type, PNG or JPEG or GIF. Here I can set the quality, and here I can resize and crop this image additionally. And I have here a preview of the image, which is displayed just now at 100%. And I have here an indicator for the file size. This is 32 kilobytes now. The first thing I would do is strip the EXIF data. And now we have 23 kilobytes. Now I can go down with the quality, let's say 75. And we are at 17 kilobyte. And I think I have lost not much with that. Let's cross-check. Well, it gets a little bit soft here, I think. Yes, it gets softer here, but it still works. Now I'm down to 15 kilobytes. Let's look how far we can get this down. You won't see it, but I get now here really chunks. I think I get chunks. Let me look into it here a little bit more closer. Now you see here, this is 6%, 2 kilobytes, and you see nothing. And increasing the quality, decreasing it, you see here there's something happening. You get more or less detail. And the trick is to find a balance between the file size, which you want to get down because it's the load on your server, and the load times, and the quality of an image, which you want to have as good as possible. Now here are some things that I don't really fully understand. It's an optimize button. Here is a thing progressive. Well, I see no difference. Perhaps somebody of you can tell me what is meant with that. Baseline, I don't know what that is. If you know, please tell me. And here we had strip EXIF information. You see here in this file size, EXIF information is really a lot of the data. And now I just press save, enter a name, and have my image. But before I close this file here, I'll ask you for help on different levels. If you are among the lot of people who go to the website and download each show by just clicking on the download links, please consider to subscribe to the video. You see here these buttons. You can do it with Miro, with iTunes, or just with the RSS feeder. There's a funny thing about you. The other shows from Photocast Network at photocastnetwork.com don't have a lot of Miro viewers. They have a lot of iTunes. And nearly half of you, of the subscribers, are using Miro, and only about a third use iTunes. So this is the show for the geeks. Why should you subscribe? Well, one advantage is for yourself. You get each show without having to look and without to have to do anything. And Miro or the software just tells you, oh, there's a new Meet the GIMP. The other thing is for me. These subscriber numbers, well, they are the currency which is paid for podcasters. And, well, this has grown to about 2,000 and stagnates. And I think there should be a little bit more. There can be a little bit more. The second thing that you can do, and that I think would be even better than subscribing, is spreading the word about Meet the GIMP. If you see an opportunity not to spam, but to drop a word, a line in a forum discussion or so about Meet the GIMP, the more visible Meet the GIMP is, the more viewers I get, the more responses I get, and the more motivation I get. The third thing is contribute content. I have just stolen here a comment from David Goers, who wrote to a back item in the blog and put that on the front page. This is news about GIMP and could be here. So if you're cruising the web or are in GIMP development, just drop me a note. I give you an account to write here so that you can publish your ideas, your site, here on the Meet the GIMP blog. Or make a video. It's not that terrible difficult. You can do it, and if you have something to show, just do it. I'll publish it here. Another geeky thing about Meet the GIMP is that you can download it via torrent. Our torrents are listed at Pirate Bay. I made a blunder again, naming the last episode. It happens because this part is still in the browser and I just removed not enough of the link. I hope you guys can live with it. It's just another number. if there's somebody around who can help me with this, I would be very happy. It's not the uploading and making the torrents that is done by a script, but publishing it here in the Pirate Bay. That is a little bit tedious, and sometimes the software glitches, and so I would be glad if someone could do that. And there's another thing. Martin, who has donated the server space for the Pirate Bay, for torrents, he has to move his server, and just now we are sitting behind a really big pipe, and the new server will be, well, a lot less accessible. So if you are downloading Meet the GIMP via torrent, please consider to seed it longer than you do now. It would improve the download experience for the rest of the world. I have no idea how many people are looking at Meet the GIMP via torrent, if it's worth the effort or if that are only 15 gigs, but well, we'll keep it up. I think the other podcasts don't use torrent, and this is unique for Meet the GIMP. And with this, I say goodbye, up to next week.
PhotocastNetwork.com, your photography resource in the podosphere. PhotocastNetwork.com